I
Yeah.
appreciate you. It's an honor.
Yeah. Rock and roll. Well, hey guys, welcome to the first show of 2023 of Command Your Confidence, the first live podcast. And I'm proud to present RPC. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. Life is great. God is good, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, rock and roll. Well, it's good to hear that. No, it's cool. And how's the new year coming out so far? Are you working on anything new for the year or?
Oh yeah, actually, the fact I had to read my book 3 or 4 times over, and ironically, from me reading my own book, True Male Nature 101, I actually quit my job, man. Because while reading my book, I realized I wrote a section about being in your comfort zone and being afraid to go into the next step. So I realized that the job I had been at for 9 years was kind of my comfort zone, and I was ready to get to the next step. So last year I quit my job in December, and this year I'll be starting new ventures, different job, different side jobs, basically a lot of passive income.
Mm-hmm. Hey, good welcome, Iceberg, to the chat here. Checking in. Rock on. Thanks for joining us, Iceberg. Rock and roll.
What up? What up,
That's cool.
Iceberg? What up?
Right. You know what? I like that you said that. I think part of the, thing what to develop into like manlyhood and discover your masculinity is that you have to break out of your comfort zone and face challenges that are holding you back in life. Because, like, I think when you can overcome certain challenges and beliefs and mindsets, like in the real world, you become more confident. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, 100%. What I've realized, I'm 41 years old. For anyone who doesn't know that, I'm 41 years old, and at 41, something that I've said many times is the fact that even if I were to go back to my 18-year-old self, 25-year-old self, and tell them the gems or the lessons or the wisdom that I have today at 41, my 18-year-old self, 25-year-old self, and 30-year-old self still wouldn't understand it. Still really, I may be able to, I may have been able to understand the words, but I wouldn't be able to understand the substance behind the words. The reason why I wouldn't be able to understand or grasp the substance behind the words or read between the lines, however you want to say it, is because I've had lived experiences to get those gems, to get that wisdom at 41. So me just telling somebody something, this is the reason why I believe Afi made the term like, content porn. Like these guys watch a lot of content, but they don't get up and do any of it. So basically what I'm saying is, like I wrote in the book, like you have to have lived experiences. You have to go through some things. You have to go through failure. A lot of people are trying to avoid or sidestep failure. And it's like, no, you have to go through failure in order to receive the lesson, pick up the gem, and move on to the next level. But like I said, a lot of guys nowadays, they're soft, they're weak. Like I'm not even stuttering when I say that. They're soft, they're weak. And the title of my book, the subtitle of my book is How Sons of Single Mothers Can Think Like a Real Man. So when I say they're soft and weak, I honestly don't even blame them, because one thing that I told someone is the fact how important it was for me, or it is for me, to have my father in my life. My father's still alive. And an example I gave is the fact that I observed a lot of things from my father, which taught me what a man is, the characteristics of a man, how a man should talk, so on and so forth. And what I thought to myself is, what if I didn't have a father? Because my father never sat me down and taught me lessons. I learned the lessons of manhood and how to be a father and how to be a husband 90% through observation, just watching, right? So if my father wasn't there, I asked myself, well, what would fill that void? Now, mind you, I just said that 90% of my education is from observation. So if I didn't have a father or a man figure in my life, what would fill the void? It would have to be my mother. So I'd be watching my mother on how she interacts with other men and women, how she deals with stress, how she, or ABC, or A through Z. And in doing so, if I were to observe my mother as far as how to be a male, then I would have female characteristics. I would have female traits, which is the issue. With a lot of males now. They have a lot of feminine female traits, and again, you can't blame them, because who did they see, or who could they have watched in order to know what masculinity is? Now, again, I'm 41. Now, even if my father wasn't in my life, I still had a chance to have masculine characteristics, because in the 90s we had, I hate to say, but we had gangster rap. We had sitcoms where they had fathers, So even if I didn't have a father in my home, I can have an idea of what a husband is or what a masculine man is based on the media. Now, today, no representation of masculinity. Even in the movies back in the day, we had Arnold Schwarzenegger, we had Sylvester Stallone. real macho men.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they were over the top, we at least had an example of masculinity. Where's the example of masculinity now?
Right. Well, you know what? One of the things I've noticed, like in most of the movies, they've killed off most of the masculine characters. I was surprised. I watched the last James Bond movie not too long ago, and they killed his character off.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I spoiled the movie for you.
No, you didn't. You didn't. No, not at all. What I'm thinking is because I watched movies recently, and a lot of times they have like again, I'm 40, so I watched a lot of movies back in the 90s and the 80s, and what I noticed is that the the character types, the archetypes that were usually played by men back in the day are played by women now. Like a woman will be like the general of the army. Hey, you got to do this. I'm looking like you have a woman leading a whole army of men. Or the worst thing that media does to women is that I see a lot of movie scenes where you have a little petite girl, about 110 pounds, soaking wet, going toe to toe with a 300-pound Zangief type size dude, and they're going blow for blow. No, ladies, you can't take a punch or a smack from a dude, especially a dude the size of Zangief. But overall, things are upside down. We live in a bizarre world right now. Mm-hmm. It's to the point now. At my former job, I remember asking the men and the males and the females. I remember asking the males and the females, who's more emotional? Do you know that like maybe 60-70% of them said that men are more emotional? And I was in shock, like, what? Mm-hmm. Why would they say that? And even the women, then I had to stop myself and I had to think, like, I hang out with myself and like-minded people. But when I think about outside of my particular circle, I started observing the guys and the way they acted, the characteristics, the traits, them smiling all the time everywhere they go. It's like, that's not masculine. Mm-hmm. Laughing all the time and, hey, all up in chicks' faces all the time. And masculinity is stoicism. It's not expressing emotions at all times. So when guys are expressing emotion at all times, when guys are arguing with women, which is something I wrote in my first book, Hacker, never argue with the woman. You should never argue, period. Because understand the difference between an argument and a debate is that an argument is emotionally fueled. A debate is, facts given back and forth. And the overall a goal of a debate is that we both learn something. An argument is just two people going back and forth. And, and I believe that arguing is foolish. And they say that
anything accomplished when
exactly.
If you're going to be emotional when you're in an argument, it's just going to keep adding more fuel to the fire, and that's why I always try to, wait till those have calmed down before you even talk something over. But some people just have to push your buttons about that. But you got to find ways to interject that and calm the situation down. I mean, because like when you're outside of your feelings, you're going to have that clarity. You're going to be able to communicate. You're going to be able to stay focused on what the issue is. But I think when you're caught up in your emotions, your mind is like on autopilot, and you're not really in the moment. You're just wrapped up on your emotions, and you're just continuing on letting those emotions get to you. What someone else is saying get to you. It's going to build up to the point where you're just going to get angry and stuff and start cussing and doing. Because I think you take the wrong actions, you make the wrong decisions, you say the wrong things when you're in an emotional state.
100%. You said something very profound, because we talk about masculinity. Anyone listening to this and watching this, you have to understand that masculinity is rooted in clarity, calmness, steadiness, stillness. So there is no hey you. Even when we're talking about women. So I say never argue with the woman. Even with the woman, if she's being disrespectful, that doesn't mean you have to come out of your masculine frame. You can quote unquote check a woman while still being stoic. You don't have to be like, hey, you. You can be like, that's some dumb shit you did right there, right?
Right.
See, I did that.
Take care of it in a calm manner and stuff, and just be calm about it. I think that's the best way that that it does an attractive quality to have as a guy too, because you're showing the woman that you can handle a situation without having to be emotional, and you're just calm, present, and in the moment.
Absolutely. Besides being rooted on the things I just named, as far as calmness and stillness, it's also masculinity embodies what makes masculinity. These are the components that you need in order to even consider yourself to be masculine. you have to display logic and reasoning. You also have to have order and structure within your life. Because in both of my books, I wrote like I contrasted and compared men and women, and the biggest difference between men and women is the fact of thinking logically and dealing with things with reason, having structure and order. Whereas a female, they are the opposite. They are disorder. They are chaotic. They think with emotions. You understand? So when guys think with emotions and they're chaotic, understand that's you expressing your feminine traits, your feminine side. So, and again, a lot of young males were raised by their mother, auntie, grandma in the house, big sister, and when they go to school, it's the female teacher, female principal. So, where can these young boys even learn what a man is and how to be a man? There's too many women out here saying, "Well, if you don't want to take care of a woman with 3 kids by 4 baby daddies, then you're not a real man." This is the reason why I expressed in my book what a real man is, because you have women out here trying to tell young boys and grown males what a man is. When a woman describes what a real man is, it's usually a male that is subservient to her and is a slave to her.
Yeah, no, and I can, I can see a lot of that. No, and I definitely agree. Like, so I grew up, with, my parents got divorced when I was like, probably 9 years old and everything. So I grew up, with just my mom in the household, and I saw my dad every once in a while. But I realized, like, because I was in that environment, I assimilated most of the way, the traits that my mom had when it came to dealing with certain situations and stuff. And at one point I realized it's so weird because, like, when you can have awareness and everything of the self and everything, you'd be like, oh my God, my mom does the same thing. And you got to find different ways to kind of calm that energy down and have a different perspective on things. I mean, I think that's like, I think a lot of this developing, into your masculinity is just like having an awareness of self and, kind of thinking, okay, well, what am I doing that's, coming off like as, emotional stuff like that, that's not masculine, and how can I work on that and apply that into my life and everything. And it's hard to, because like you're surrounded by that all the time, all that energy.
Exactly.
And I think it's just more of like an inner thing you gotta just kind of implement that into your life. And I have moments too where I think, I mean, I'm not perfect, and I slip back into my old frame of mindset, because I've been a certain way for like 35 years of my life. But I have to put myself in check and be like, hey, I'm a totally different person from where I was, like, back in the day, and and you have stuff that comes up in life too, where like things don't go perfect all the time, and it can get frustrating. And some guys will, like, because they get caught up in their feelings and stuff, they give up. They don't want to take action. They don't want to, they think it's too hard, and they get all emotional and stuff about it. But you got to kind of have that awareness and rise to the occasion and kind of be, put yourself in check and lead yourself in the right direction.
See, what's missing in today's society, like I wrote in my book, is the fact that too many young boys do not go through a rite of passage. We want to talk about developing masculinity. Well, to develop masculinity, you must go through a rite of passage. What is that? There are 3 phases to a rite of passage. The first is, you could read in detail in my book, but basically it's three phases. The first phase is basically leaving home, leaving your comfort zone, leaving your nest, whatever you want to call it, away from your family members, your closest friends, the people that you know. Go away from there, so that basically you're by yourself. When I say by yourself, you're not around familiar grounds.
Right. No, you're right. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but like, you're right. And I live with so I'm 40 right now, and I lived with my mom for 35 years of my life. And I realized when I came out here, and I've been out here for like 6 years now, like I've seen a whole change, And you're right. You got to, I was afraid to do it, but I took that chance, and, and I put myself on a journey, going through my own personal development.
Because the thing is, when people are in their nest, in their comfort zone, it's like, why do I need to learn something? Like, I'm good. I already know that this is going to do this at this time. This happens every day at this time. But the three steps are: you go away, learn what you need to learn, pick up your gems, go through experiences, and then you come back. Because when you come back to this comfort zone, the nest that you left, you're not even going to look at the nest the same. So just I like that you give that example. The reason why I know that a rite of passage is necessary is because let's take me for example. I have two brothers, right? I'm the middle child.
Okay.
I'm the only of my three brothers that went away to college. So I was out of the house at 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
My other two brothers, I have a younger and older, basically they left the house in their 30s, right? And me and my other two brothers, we are miles apart as far as as far as my maturity compared to them, how I could, just the way I see the world, just how I perceive life, so on and so forth. So my personal journey, my rite of passage is I left the nest at 17, went away to college, moved to Philadelphia. I don't know if anybody knows about Philadelphia, but Philadelphia is very grimy. There's a lot of crime out there, all right? Mind you, I had no friends and no family members in the state of Pennsylvania, all right? So I'm 17 in the city of Philadelphia was high crime. So what I tell my brothers is, because certain things that my brothers do in the street, I'm like, yo, why you doing that for? Why you acting up? Like, yo, calm down. It's like, nah, yo, this dude's it's that, da, da, da. And I realized, like, yo, this guy didn't learn this particular lesson that I learned in college. Like, you talk crazy in the street, you might get killed. You might get shot. You might get stabbed over something stupid. You know what I mean? So I say that to say, I went away to college. I learned a whole bunch of things being away in college, learning how to pay the electricity bill, pay rent, having the landlord steal my money, having to figure out where am I going to live, blah, blah, blah. Just figured all these things out without calling mommy, help me. To the point where I just stated how a landlord stole my money, me and my roommate's money. So we didn't have no place to stay beginning of my junior year. And he stole it literally like a week before we moved in. So I had no place to stay. Yeah, he got us good. So with that being said, this is twofold thing. Number one, I didn't call my mother for help. I called my mother, or I should say my parents. I called my parents to let them know what's going on. Hey, landlord took my bread, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, yo, come back home. I'm like, nah, if I come home, I'm going to miss a semester. I was like, yo, don't worry, I'm going to figure it out. So I was sleeping on the dorm benches and sleeping in random dorm rooms for the first 2 months. Yeah. And I say that to say, like, most people would have folded and went back home. I was so focused on the goal of graduating college. I'm like, I'm not going to spend some extra time just because I don't have a place to stay. I'm going to figure that out. Boom. Can I keep my clothes in your closet? All right, no doubt. Yo, you mind if I come like around this time every other day to come take a shower? And you know what I'm saying? Basically, I figured it out. So after I went through all those lessons, I moved back to New York, maybe 8 years after I left New York. Now I'm a different person. Like, I'm a true adult. Like, some people say they're adult just because of their age. Nah, because you could be 35 and still be immature.
You're right. No, it's a maturity thing. No, I have to say, just my experience kind of being out here on my own too. I've kind of gone through the same trials and tribulations. Not everything's perfect. You know what I'm saying? And and you face challenges. And I like that because at first they evoke fear and discomfort, but you realize, like, once you overcome those challenges, like you grow in your maturity level and everything. And you gotta I was talking about a show with Alpha Villains about this, but you gotta be, like, thankful for having any bad experiences that come up in your life, because in the end they've done a lot of good. They've gotten you to the next level in life. They made you more confident. They made you a stronger individual, and so you got to know, and it's good to have that. Like, it sucks at first, and like, even when you find yourself back in those experiences, you have to again remember, be grateful for everything that you have accomplished, and you got to step out of your emotions and be aware of that.
100%. One of my motto is study your lessons every day. What I mean by that is, I've told people that the universe gives you tests. When you say a bad experience, at this point in my life, I call it a challenge or a tribulation, because it's only bad if you didn't learn anything from it. Think about that. If you went through an experience,
I like that analogy. Very good.
Absolutely, because that's why when people be like, well, how come you don't talk about the bad experiences you had in your past? I'm like, I don't carry it with me. Like, especially if I learn something from it, then I take what I need to take and I leave it behind me. Like, they talk about women having too much baggage, when they have a lot of relationships, but guys have a lot of baggage too. They go through situations, but they don't, they experience situations, but they don't go through it. They hold on to it. Like, yo, because I remember in sixth grade when that girl broke up with me, she hurt my heart. Like, yo, bro, that was 15 years ago. Like, and it's all about perception. Even when I get rejected by a woman today, my perception is, thank God, yo, you must be saving me from something, because she sees me. How could she not like me? You understand? So if she's going to go another direction, thank you, God. You must have saved me from something. I don't even know what you saved me from, but I thank you anyway. So that's all about perception. Go ahead.
You know what I realized though? Like, the girls that end up not rejecting you, like, are actually the ones, you know, I mean, you still got to get to know them, but I know most ones who haven't rejected me have ended up, you know, accepting, liking the person the fact that who I am as a person. They can deal with my sense of humor. They can just, the vibe is just there, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a good, I like that mindset, you know, like, you know, when you get rejected, think of it as a way, well, hey, God's saving you from like
Yeah,
dealing
look at
with
her
the
like,
wrong
yo, you
person
dumb.
and saving you
Like,
time, right? And we're both busy people, so we
yes,
value our time, and we,
yes,
so yeah, no, that's a good, I like that. That's a good
yeah,
little
man.
nugget
Like, too
there.
many guys are stuck on, well, fuck you then. Can you? No, no. She rejected you. Thank you, because what it is that guys like the confidence. Because if guys have confidence, they would have the confidence to know, like, okay, let me say something else. This maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Masculinity. All right, these are other characteristics of masculinity. Aggressiveness. Because at my former job, I work in the healthcare, and I work around a lot of women. And I was having issues like I had issues my entire time there. And I'm gonna tell you why. I remember maybe a year and a half of me working there. I was in the office because they called me to the office again. And I'm like, mind you, this is the only job where I had issues. Every other job I've been to, no problems. But this time I'm working with 80% women. So I'm in the office for something else, and I'm just, chopping up with the clerk who's a woman. And she's like, RPC, you know what your problem is here? I'm like, well, what is it? Like, I don't know what I be doing. She's like, you're too aggressive. I'm like, I'm aggressive. Because guys in my circle, they're aggressive. Me, I'm the least aggressive in my circle. But then again, I'm always comparing myself to people in my circle. When I start looking at comparing myself to the males at my job, remember, they're weak, they're soft. So me compared to them, yeah, I'm super aggressive. I'm the guy that be like, oh no, why I gotta do that for? That don't even make sense. Well,
I was like,
every other guy like, oh, okay, you want me to do some more than that? You want to jump? Okay, you sure? Hey, okay. And I'm over here like, they'll come in, they'll come to the room, hey, everybody, hey, Shirley, how you doing today? How's your hair? Oh, I like your hair. Look at your nails. Oh my God. What? Me? I come in like, what's my assignment? So no, I come in, I'll be like, good morning, everybody. What's my assignment? Why are you so angry, RPC? I'm I'm not angry. I just want my assignment. But they're so used to guys coming in, hey guys, how you doing? Good morning. Hey. That's not masculine. So the reason why I was having issues at my job is because, like I stated before, most guys nowadays are not masculine. They don't exert masculinity. So when a woman actually is confronted with masculinity, is interacting with masculinity, she's in shock, like, whoa, why are you talking to me like that? Because a lot of times when they were quote unquote report me to the office, it was never for something that I said. It was always because of the tone that I used. But they don't understand that this is a masculine tone. Because if a woman is raised by her mother, her sister, she has a younger brother, know what I mean? Where does she see how a man acts? Where does she see how a man talks? Because if she doesn't experience that growing up, women normally look at that as too much. It's aggressive. It's threatening. You understand? Another trait of another characteristic of masculinity is being assertive. To be assertive is to have confidence and force and a forceful personality. Like
kind of go after what you want. Being assertive is like
exactly.
going after what you want, whether it be like career goals, building something for yourself, either having overcoming the anxiety to go talk to a girl and just having being assertive to push through that anxiety and just, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. So when women see, a lot of guys nowadays think that, not even think, they're not thinking. A lot of guys nowadays feel like they have to cater to a woman's feelings. So when they hear women say, I want a guy who can express his emotions and blah, 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 blah. So a lot of guys conform to that, right? Not realizing that the opposite of bravery is conforming. So
Mm-hmm.
fellas, when you're conforming to what you believe a woman likes, you're being the opposite of brave. You know what is brave, fellas? Being yourself. Like when
Yeah.
guys used to ask me, oh, what line should I use? Or what's your best pickup line when you meet a chick? I'm like, pickup line. I'm like, listen, when I walk up to a chick, I say I say whatever's in my head. I
Right.
mean,
No,
like,
I like what you're saying. No, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I
go
like
ahead.
what you're saying because that's something I discovered. Like, because I mean, even though I work with mentors and stuff, that they gave me like certain ways to get a conversation going. But then I realized the best conversations and the best approaches I had was just being authentic and saying what's on my mind and not being afraid to be me. And that was like, even when I go out on my dates now, I just let myself go. I don't try not to, because I remember before I always be worried about, saying something or being myself because I wanted to like conform to someone that I wanted the woman to be, and I realized that, they can spot when you're doing that because they deal with
Yes.
a lot of other guys
Yes.
when they do that. No, and it's funny that you said this because I've been talking to a couple girls online and they've just been sharing some experiences about some of the guys and stuff. They can spot. They were telling me like some of the guys would just either just invite them over to their want to have sex right away, or they would also, they can spot they weren't being transparent with them from
Mm,
the get
mm,
go.
mm.
And I'm like, I know I'm going to easily connect, have a connection with this woman because she's dealing with a lot of guys who do the same stuff. And, but that's one of the challenges I struggled with, like, and just being not just with women, but just communicating with other people
Mhm.
as well. I mean, there's a certain place where you kind of have to restrict yourself in certain
Of course.
circumstances. You got to put yourself on check. But, I realized when I was just being able to be free to express me and let my concern about what other people think about me, that's when
Hmm.
I was at my best because you're projecting that confidence in yourself and everything when you're doing that. Most guys these days have a hard time doing that because
Yep.
I know what it's like because I was there.
Hmm. You said something. It's like guys don't realize that you just have to be genuine. And speaking of myself, like my type of game, I didn't even term it. Somebody termed it for me. But ever since I was even in maybe fifth, sixth grade, I used to always just say I always say what's on my mind, right? And when I would say on my mind, the women would always have like a shock look, like, "Did you just say that?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, what's the big deal?" Like it wasn't until college that I realized, like, oh, like that's what they like about me, that I say what's on my mind because I'll listen to other guys talk to women. I'll be like, "Yeah, I heard that line before," or "Yeah, he BS, and I don't even know why you're talking like that." So going back to being genuine, what I learned is when you talk to a chick, it's not necessarily what you say. I understand what they mean by tone because the tone is really the energy of the words that you're saying. So what I mean by that is, I remember how I learned this is because when I would walk up to a chick back in the day and be like, in my mind, I'd be like, "Yeah, I don't know if I could get her right there. Like, this might be tough. For whatever reason, I don't think I could get her, but I would still approach. I wouldn't get the best results. Whereas
Hmm.
my mindset was, I got this in the bag. Hold on, I already got this. Hold on, let me go talk. Man, yo, this chick should be happy that I'm even talking to her. You know what I'm saying? Just the mindset of, baby girl, I'm doing you a favor by talking to you. I mean,
Hmm.
when I have that energy, I give a different tone. I could say the same thing to the two different chicks, but I have a different vibe to myself. One vibe is I'm nervous, I'm not sure, I might. The other vibe is, yo, I got this already. What are you talking about? So when I talk to women, it's like with that energy of, yo, like you should be happy, you should be talking to me. The response I get from them is like non-verbally is like, yo, who is this guy? Like, I need to get to know this dude because what I also do is
Oh,
to make sure
our
that I'm,
buddies in the house, Afi.
yeah,
Hey, it's Afi.
I
What's
feel
up,
what it
buddy?
do, man. How you?
Yeah, dude.
No, what I was
Good,
gonna say
Afi.
was when how I know like I'm going in the right track is like I'll talk to the chick with that energy, and I will not say my name. I won't say hi. My name is Sincere or hi. My name RPC. I won't say none of that. I'll just talk, have her laugh, shock her a little bit, and it won't be towards the end. She'd be like, oh, wait, hold on. I don't even know your name. Got him. Because if a chick is not interested, why the hell would she want to know your name? The reason why I believe she needs to know my name, because when she goes back and tell her friends, I met this guy today, he made me feel like this, and he did that, and da da da. They go like, well, what's his name? I don't even know his name. Boom. Understand? So it's all about your energy, fellas. Like, but the best way for you to gain your energy, because guys be like, yo, how do I talk to a chick? And this, that, I'm not good at speaking. I'll be saying, do you have a problem talking to your guy friends? When you're in your circle with your guy friends, you're chilling, you're drinking beer, you're doing watching the game. You have trouble talking to your guy friends? No, because it's my friend. I said, no, but that's a human being. It's a human being, right? Oh,
Mhm.
because you don't want to have sex with your friend. You can talk to your friend, but okay. So let's do this. Start talking to random people without having any sexual motives. Just learn how to talk to people. Hey, did you see that? Do you know if the guacamole's on sale today? Like I know I went there last week you just sparking a conversation with people, not just women, not just attractive women. You start talking to anybody and everybody, no matter the age, race, religion, regardless. So that when it's time for you to actually talk to the woman that you want to talk to, all that nervousness and whatever. Another thing is, I tell people you have to learn how to talk to women with your penis in your pocket. What I mean by that is a lot of guys walk up to women. Yeah, put your penis in your pocket, because a lot of guys walk up to women and they give off that sexual energy, like, ooh, wow, you're so beautiful. Like, oh, your body is. Like, come on, like, I mean, you're not leaving nothing for mystery. You're not leaving a mystery for her. Like, you have to have, like, when you start a conversation with a chick and you keep your penis in your pocket, and it's non-sexual, she's gonna be having a conversation with you, and you're gonna have that swagger. You're gonna banter. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you're not gonna be over sexual. You're not gonna over sexualize the conversation. You may say things that she can read between the lines, but you'll never outright say anything sexual. And in doing so, she's gonna be off balance. She's gonna be like, "Is this guy just talking to me, or is he trying to kick it to me? Like, I don't even know." So if she knows that you're trying to kick it to her, she might put up a certain front. Like, okay, I know I'm not looking. But if you're just having a conversation and she puts up a front, now she looks like a bitch. She don't want to look like that. So you just have a regular conversation, this, then a third. And if the conversation is going good, I'll say something like, "Hey, you know how to use this?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, yo, we need to finish this conversation. Put your number down in here." Simple. It ain't no, "Hey, yo, you beautiful. Let me get your number, girl." And yo, we already had the conversation. I already got her a little loose, giggling a little bit. Now it's yo, it's good talking to you. Yo, I gotta head somewhere real quick. Matter of fact, yo, just put your number down real quick. We go, okay.
Right.
You understand?
I like, no, it's funny because that's the approach I've been kind of taking, just kind of have those spontaneous conversations. And then just, just based on the interaction, how it goes. Yeah, I will take, go for a close and something. That's the way. No, and see, and that's it. So this past, like I say, year, I got so caught up on the dating apps and stuff that I failed to do the, like, I'm a meetup event organizer, and I do, when I got to the clubs, I still go talk to girls, but I was doing a lot of approaching during the daytime and stuff. And I kind of just, like, because I was having so much success on the dating apps, I kind of just put the daytime stuff off. And I've said, so I said to myself, this year, like, I'm going to, kind of do less of the apps and get back into the daytime stuff. And so, like, I know starting out was a little rusty, but, I set challenges for myself, kind of like your thing. Just, just have interactions with women, and, like, and I said, even if I saw a girl and I said, "Oh, she doesn't want to be approached," I said to myself, "I'm just going to do it because it gets you in the habit of interacting with people." And the funny thing was, like, the other day, I was just leaving the gas station and everything. I just happened to see a girl walking by, made an observational opener, had a short conversation, and I wasn't even intending on exchanging a number, getting a number out. And I just did that. Like, it just happened naturally. I didn't, like, go into the interaction.
Exactly. It's natural. It's not like, "Oh, okay, I'm about to talk to her. Okay, what am I going to say? All right, hold on. Okay, I'm going to wait 2 minutes. And then, yo, you're thinking too much, bro. You're thinking too much. You see a chick? Yo, you ever had these before? Oh, yo, I come in all the time. Yo, you know where I can get the whatever. It could be. That's what I like doing too, especially when I travel to somewhere different. I have no problem asking women for directions. Like, and I stand around them like, "Excuse me, do you know what such and such hall is? Like 2 blocks. Really? How about, you know any good places to, like, eat or something? Like, I'm new here. Like, I've never been here before." And then, like, "Oh, you can go da 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 da." Like, really? Like, okay, you hungry? You see that? You just have a conversation. You thought I was just asking for directions and all that. You know what I'm saying? I might have made her laugh, giggle a little bit. Then, "Hey, you hungry? Let's go grab something to eat. You busy now?" A lot of guys that think, "No, I gotta hold it off till the next day because it's too soon." What do you mean it's too soon? Who said that rule? That's another thing. You guys watch too much YouTube. You're watching too much red pill this, and life isn't what you see on YouTube. Life is a lived experience.
Right. No, it's right, because, like, I think a lot, and see, that's the thing. You hear all this stuff from these content creators. I mean, some of it's good, but some of it can be very toxic and stuff. And I think it keeps you from actually being spontaneous and being in the moment. Like, you want to do it, but then you're like, "No, I don't want to do it because someone on YouTube told me this person would be like, or react like this or that if that happens." But why not, like, muster your fucking courage up and then step out of your comfort zone, just be in the moment and just see what happens. You just blow your mind away. That's how you do it.
Like you said before, it's all about forming habits. People think that, okay, I hollered at one chick yesterday and another one. Well, let me say this. Let me backtrack. Okay, there's levels to this. Depending on what age you are, Like if you're in your early 20s, late teens, yeah, go out, holler at mad different chicks, see what you can do, this, then the third. If you're 35 and up and you're still concerned about how to bag women and all that, I think you should focus on becoming successful. Because at a
Hmm.
certain age, that is what's going to get the women. Because when you're 20 years old, you got, you got a little 9K in the bank or whatever the case may be. You got a little 9 to 5. Yeah, a woman will accept that because you're 22 years old, you're fresh out of college. Cool. 35, 40 years old, still making minimum wage, still working at, what I mean? No offense to anybody working at Walmart, but still working at Walmart. Like, what we doing? You understand? So, fellas, you have to get to a certain age where you have to put down the things that you enjoyed as a young boy or as an adolescent. Because to be an adult, it's like a 180. Like, also, let me say this: like, never kill your inner child. You should always have
Oh,
a relationship with
I
your inner
get my
child.
inner child.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I love my inner child. Understand? But as a man in this world, you have to exert your masculinity. And with masculinity comes, like we said before, assertiveness, aggressiveness, being analytical. And if you're focused on women at 40, I think you lost. You understand? Now, the reason why I tell you to be successful at 35, 40 is because regardless of what you hear on these red pill channels, whatever the case may be, they say that, oh, women love money and this, that, and the third. Women love money, yes, because even in my book, Hacker, I put that money is her God. But what I'm realizing is women are attracted to the traits that makes a man successful, ambitious,
Hmm.
aggressive, dominant. The result of him being like that is success, is a big bankroll. So it's twofold. Yes, the women like the money because it can afford them a comfortable life, where they could buy
Hmm.
anything, be a housewife. But at the same time, they like the traits and the characteristics of the man that made him wealthy, rich, and a high value man. So, fellas, if you're 35 and up, you don't got the girl that you're looking for, whatever the case may be, switch your focus to your success. Because once you develop the habits that you need for success, because even I had, if Afi still had a conversation with Afi maybe like a year or so ago, and I was basically telling him like, I came to realize like I'm the man in my head. In my head, I'm the man. I'm so successful. I'm this, that, and the third. But I say, yo, Afi, I got to take my success in my head and put it into reality. So with
Right.
that being said,
I
I
do
have
that.
to, I have to, I have to do things in reality in 3D so that I can. And it's not even for anybody else. It's for myself. So I know like I can do it inside and outside because it's a saying that goes as above, so below. So if I truly believe that I'm successful and I'm wealthy in my head, then there's no reason why I shouldn't be like that in reality. So I bring that up to say once that switch clicked in my head, I'm not the same person anymore. I don't hang out with my friends as much as I used to. I don't drink as much as I used to. I don't watch as much TV as I used to. I'm so focused on building a life where I have an abundance of assets and an abundance of access to different areas and different rooms or whatever case you want to call it. So, fellas, if you want to be successful in life, you're going to have to sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice?
Right. No, and that's true. Like, I realized, I had to sacrifice a lot of time just working on, my business stuff. I have a 9 to 5 job. I come home and I, focus stuff on my business. But lately, I've been taking a break and been going out on a lot of dates lately
Yeah,
because
there's nothing
I had
wrong
a
with
dr-
that.
I had a dry spell of dates for like a month, so now everything's picking up again. I'm like, okay, cool, so I'm taking a break from that, so I took a little break, but it's important too not to let that distract you,
Yep.
because you can get
Yep.
like that can distract you, and there's other.
Breaking up right now. If you can hear me, I can't hear you. All right, so you're frozen now, so I'm gonna talk while you're frozen. Boom. So when it comes to masculinity, anybody listening, watching this, you gotta understand, like, you have to embody logic, reason. You have to be aggressive, like I stated. But one of the most important things of masculinity is being independent. So when women claim and scream from the top of their lungs, INDEPEND, you don't know what that means, right? That's a masculine trait. To be independent means you don't depend on another person's authority. You're not dependent on another person for your livelihood. So you fellas out there who staying with your baby mama, staying with your girl, driving her car, you know what I mean? Not putting no gas back in it. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna be able to eat unless she cooks something for you. You're not a man. You're a grown male. Because that's, as I stated, a characteristic of masculinity is the ability to be independent. You don't need another person to live. You understand? Another part of it is you have to be capable of thinking for yourself. That kind of leads into the red pill mindset as far as seeing through society's narrative.
I got cut
Go
off
ahead.
for like 10
Yeah,
minutes.
no doubt. No, don't worry. I held it down, man. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Okay, thank you very much. What we were talking about, yeah, being distracted and
Yeah.
distraction.
What I was gonna say about that, because you said, I don't want people to think that I'm saying that you shouldn't deal with women, you shouldn't date, you shouldn't. Nah. When I say on your road to success, what I'm saying is there should be no play without the work being done first. So even with
Right.
myself, you got to get the work done. So when you see me on vacation, I'm chilling, understand before I went on vacation, I did a lot of work. I put a lot of hours in. Okay. So you got a lot of guys here who go to the club all the time, want to travel foreigner. Cool. What work are you doing? And I'm not even talking about your 9 to 5. Because another thing guys have to understand, a part of masculinity is, being financially secure. Like if you have a 9 to 5, like I was told years ago by my tax prepper, who's actually a woman, she told me, she said, look, you'll never get above water if you only have one income. And I said, and I thought about it. I was like, damn, she's right. Because even if you have a 9 to 5, you always have a ceiling with that 9 to 5. As opposed to if you have a 9 to 5 and you have passive income, something that just generates money. That means, because my whole goal in life is to be able to make money while I'm on the shitter. While I'm taking this, when I'm sleeping.
I would like that too.
Well, writing a book does that. You understand?
Yep.
Like writing my first book made me realize, like, could I even write my first book in order to get passive income? It wasn't until after I wrote the book, I was like, yo, I get money every month, regardless of what I do. It's not the same amount, but regardless, I know I'm getting something, whether it's $10 or $10,000. There's some type of check that's coming into my account every single month. That's a different feeling. That's a different lifestyle. So once that started happening, I started realizing, like, I need to build more different pillars of passive income to the point where I could just leave it on autopilot. Now I don't have to do anything. Anything I do after that is just straight passion projects. So that's the goal. That's where I'm at now.
You know what? It's funny we're talking about this. We should probably do a stream like later on, just because I want to talk about business stuff, and we should do a stream maybe on another show talking about like how guys can get started with the business and passive income. I think that'd be a great topic to discuss. But no, I know what you're talking about, because like I have a side business I do outside of work. I still got to put time into it, but I have someone who can help me out with stuff when I'm not there, which is good. But so that kind of helps me find time to do other things, but I still got to put in time, do this and then do the side business. But yeah, just being able to like have another business, another source of income to support what I'm currently making is always good.
And the new wave now, 2023 and all, maybe since 2020, is working mobile, working from home or working mobile. I'm specifically talking about working mobile on your laptop. All you need is a Wi-Fi. Because if you have that type of business where you don't have to be stationed at one particular place, now you could be anywhere on the globe and make money and do your business. And the only reason I know that, the reason I learned that is because one time I was on vacation with a couple of my friends, and I was like, hey, yo, bro, let's go to breakfast. He's like, nah, hold on, I gotta go to work real quick. I was like, stop playing, man. We in Colombia. What you talking about? Like, nah, I gotta go on my laptop real quick. About 45 minutes later, he put his laptop down. He's like, all right, I'm done. I was like, yo, you was working for real? He's like, yeah, I had a couple clients I just sat back and I was like, hold on. This guy's in another country and he can still work.
I
was like, wow.
Right? That makes it very convenient to have that luxury to be able to work from wherever you want to work.
All you need is Wi-Fi.
Yep, exactly.
Amazing.
And you need like a plan of action too, just to kind of
absolutely
figure out how you're going to make income and stuff like that.
But that's the problem with a lot of guys. Again, all right, let me say this. Again, I keep repeating, I'm 41. I lived through the 80s. I lived through the 90s. So in the 80s and 90s, it was more so kids who grew up in drug-infected homes, right? So we had to deal with that, like, whatever. Whatever. We had to deal with drug-infected homes, so kids had to deal with, drug-addicted parents. Nowadays in 2023, we're dealing with people who come from single mother homes, which means that they damn near don't even know what a man is. So even when you try to tell people what a man is or how a man is supposed to act, it's almost like they don't believe you. Because where's the example you're going to show that to? Again, somebody tells me what a man is, I'm going to compare it to my father, my 4 uncles, my big cousins who I looked at how can I say? I got some hard uncles. Like I gave a story before how my one of my uncles from Canada, the way he would greet me when he would see me, when he come visit us, the way he would greet me, come like, hey, Neff, come here. Boop, boop. He give me a couple jabs to my chest.
Boxing type of
he give me some jabs to my chest, come to my back, and I'm like, hey, all right.
I got those a couple times too from some old friends. I know.
There you go.
I'm like, what the?
But listen, at like 6 years old, 7, 8, I was like, why does he keep hitting me for? That's so mean. I don't like him. When I got like 12, 13, 16, like, yo, what up? Now we boxing in. I'll give the story again. When I turned 18, they don't do it now, but they give back in the day, we used to give birthday punches. And long story short, my friends gave me 18 birthday punches, like three of my friends. If an outsider was looking at that, they would think that I was getting jumped, right? But I wasn't. It was my friends showing me love. How were they showing me love? By punching on me. Guys now, they'd be like, what? There's no love, man. If they punching on you, they don't love. No, you don't understand. Like, masculine men express their emotions differently than women. It's my 18th birthday. They're not gonna hug me. Oh, okay, come here. Let me give you a big hug, man. Good luck. Nah. Yo, you know it's your birthday today, right? I saw them surrounded. I'm like, yeah, it's my 18th birthday. Like, yo, get him. And I say that to say, when they were punching me and I was punching them back, I was laughing the whole time. That was like, why do I remember this 18, 13, 23 years later? Why do I still remember that? Because it was a good time. It was a bonding moment, punching on each other. And if my uncle as a child never did that to me, I would have looked at it as violence, as, like they don't like me. But my uncle who loves me did the same thing. You understand? So we just have a lack of masculinity in the world today, and it's going to take a few generations for it to come back.
Right. Well, it's funny you said that because I used to have friends who just like tease me or call me. And I at first I took it as, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this for? But I realized, no, it's just like a masculine way of showing affection.
Exactly. Let me repeat something that I heard Myron from Fresh and Fit say. We absolutely need to bring bullying back, because we're at a point now where, all right, let's get back to, we used to call it I forgot, playing the dozens. Like you crack on each other, like you joke on each other. Like me and my friends, we crack on each other. Like we joke on each other, like, yo, like let's say my friends saw me now. They'd be like, so what, you like a jungle like instructor or something like that? What's going on with your shirt, bro? Like, even though they might like the shirt and all that, but they just want to razzle me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Guys know. Some people will take that the wrong way. No,
they're too sensitive.
But it took me a while to like think, okay, have a different perception of what I'm thinking. And now, like when I give shit, I throw it back at people. 100%.
Exactly.
I give it my best.
But let me tell you how I learned to accept that. Because truth be told, I was a sensitive person growing up. Like I was sensitive. Somebody say something, I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? I think he meant this when he said that. But what changed that in me was my 10th grade basketball coach. Because I'm naturally a 2 guard. I mean, a 2 guard, maybe a small forward, but he wanted me to play the point guard, the 1, because I was smart. I was like a floor general. I had handles, but I like to shoot. So I would come up the court, he'd call out a play, and I would kind of just do my own thing. And he called me to the side and he's like, yo, you know what your problem is? You don't know how to take constructive criticism. And I heard the term criticism before. I've been criticized, but the fact that he added the word constructive before it stopped me in my tracks. Like, constructive criticism, what the hell is that? I've never heard of that. And I broke down the word like constructive criticism. I mean, he's criticizing you, but he's criticizing you in a way that's going to build you up. So I say a lot to say, like when my friends would, crack on me or whatever case you want to call it, I realized it's actually hardening me. It's making me less sensitive, right? Because now if somebody outside my circle says something like that, I just look at them like, whatever, man. I mean, it ain't even like, yo, who you talking to, man? Yo, who do you think you? Nah. Like, I don't know you. All right, get out of here. My friend said, I hear that, yo, you crazy, man. Yo, what about you? What are those, man? What you talking about? So,
right,
having friends like that, go ahead.
funny you said that because like I would always it was weird. I didn't when I was first getting constructive criticism from people. Like I took it personally, but I didn't realize that until like took me a couple instances. But I realized it only helps you grow as an individual. Like if you can't grow as an individual or move, achieve anything in your life without having criticism from somebody, because you're gonna get that. And sometimes I like when people are just fucking direct and shit. Like this sucks. You gotta do it better. Like
Listen,
I think a lot of people sugarcoat things and they're not honest about it because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I'm like, just
it's
fucking be honest. That's like always. That's how I'm going to be a better individual, and that's how I'm going to be better at what I do.
but it's a twofold problem because number one, a lot of people aren't genuine, right? And the reason why, and the second part of that is the reason why they're not genuine because they genuinely don't know themselves. What I said is it has to be hell to be someone who doesn't know themselves, and because of that, they try to be the person that person A thinks they should be when they're around person A, and they act like the person that they think person B think they should be when they're around person B, and when they're around this group of people, they're gonna what? So a lot of people don't even know themselves. They cannot be genuine. The reason why they can't be genuine is because they're afraid. They're afraid to practice solitude. They're afraid to be by themselves, to drown in their own thoughts. They'd rather just be distracted, because to be distracted is the easiest thing you can do. Watch some porn, go out drinking with the fellas, just talking to a bunch of girls all day, every day. Like what did you produce that day? What did you do anything productive today besides waste your time? Because we said earlier in this video, if guys don't know it, let's just say it very clearly. Your time is the most important thing that you can give anybody. The only caveat to that is the only most important thing that you give to someone else, specifically a woman, is your seed. Besides your seed, your time is the most important thing that you can give anybody. So don't allow anybody to waste your time because you can never get it back.
Right, exactly. No, and that's very important, and I value my time, so definitely important. Well, hey, we got to wrap up the show here in 5 minutes. Do you have any last minute words or final thoughts? I always ask for the final thought based on
yes,
what we
sir.
were talking about tonight, because
yes, sir.
I think we covered a lot tonight, and we kind of went off topic in a bit, but we kind of covered what we were talking about, covered what we were on to talk about, which is always
Absolutely.
good. That's how I like doing these shows. I like starting out with a topic and it just free flows. That's always the best shows.
Absolutely.
But yeah, any final discussions? Let people know where they can find you and everything.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to give like a little summary of what masculinity is.
I can't wait to hear it, man. Go.
Exactly. So some things may be repetitive, but I think guys need to hear this. So number one, masculinity is rooted in calmness, clarity, stillness, steadiness. All right. Masculinity embodies logic, reason, order, structure. All right. Critical thinking skills, pretty much. Masculinity is expressed through aggressiveness, assertiveness, thinking analytically, being strong mentally and physically, being dominant. What does dominant mean? Dominant doesn't mean you're just going around just bullying people and pushing people around. Dominant is being powerful. It's being influential. All right. So it's not all about your physical strength. It could be influential. Go ahead.
Throw in something for that too. I want to see being dominant to like overcome challenges from your mindset and everything too. Control yourself.
Absolutely. You have to, whether you know it or not, you have to be dominant over yourself, because you have a higher self and you have your lower self. Your lower self is always going to tell you to take the easy route. So, you can do that tomorrow. We can do that next week. Well, your higher self is the one that's going to be like, I bet you can't do another set. I bet you can't practice semen retention for 30 days. A lot of people don't even look into that. So you have to know how to dominate even yourself, right? Masculinity is someone who's independent. Something that I said when you had like a little Wi-Fi issues is I spoke about being independent. And I said independent is when you're not depending on another person for your livelihood. It's not depending on another person's authority. So the example I gave is you got guys out here who deal with chicks, sleeping on their couch, eating up all their food, driving her car, not filling up with gas. You're not a man. You're not exhibiting masculinity. You're actually exhibiting femininity. being under somebody else's wing, having them take care of you, feed you. That's not masculine. Um, Another part of masculinity is that masculinity is competitive. If you're not competitive, you're not masculine. Even if it's something like you walk in somewhere, yo, you're racing to the car. It could be something as simple as that. But we compete, y'all. Y'all bet you I make the shot. I roll up a ball of paper. Y'all bet you I make the shot. Y'all bet you can't make it twice in a row. That's man stuff. You understand? When it comes to competition or being competitive, it's all about having a strong desire to be more successful. It's a strong desire to be more successful than others. You over here thinking, well, he got a Benz, so I'm gonna get a Benz. Nah, not me. Oh, you got a Benz? Shit, I gotta fly private. I'm not trying to match you. I'm trying to surpass you, so you can't even see me no more. You know what I mean? But in order to be competitive, this last thing I say. Well, a few last things. In order to be competitive, whether it's in business, whether it's in relationships, you damn near have to be cutthroat. A lot of guys, you guys are soft. You're not. Oh well, that wouldn't be fair if I did that. And let me tell you something about being successful. Because I have my business partner. He's a millionaire. And before I knew he was a millionaire, we would have conversations. There's certain things he would say, I'm like, wow, bro, you kind of cold, man, for real? Like, damn, but what about, and I would point to the little man on the totem pole. And he'd be like, yeah, I'm not worried about that because you got to blah, 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 blah. And that's how that'll make you get more money. And this, that, and that. I'm like, that's cold. But like I said, there was a switch that flipped in my head to become successful. And once I flipped that switch in my head, some of the conversations that I had with him started coming back and started making more sense. Like, I see why he would do that. And so basically what I'm saying is, in order to be successful in this world, on this planet, on this day and time, you have to be cutthroat. That means you have to be fierce. You have to be ruthless. You have to sometimes show no pity, no compassion. This is masculinity. You think when these former rulers were going around and dominating these different cities and towns, that you don't think they were ruthless? They weren't fierce? They're still talked about till this day. So you need that in your life. Last few things I'll say is, in order to be masculine, have masculinity, you must have integrity. You must be honest. You must have high moral principles. It's so easy to just skip it and be a thief and rob and I don't care. I'm just gonna you gotta have integrity. Basic integrity is doing something that no one else would know, doing something that no one else would know, but you're still gonna do the right thing just because you know it's the right thing to do. Understand?
Right. Yeah.
Last thing, with masculinity, you need to have communication. Your communication needs to be bold. It needs to be self-assured. You need to be firm in what you say. And something that I've been told about my tone, which is the reason why I had issues at my former job, you have to have an authoritative tone. That is the issue that women had with me because the nurses supposedly had a higher position than me because they had licenses. So I was working under their licenses. And the issue they had with me is because the tone that I spoke to them as if I was they interpreted my tone as if I was talking to them as if I was their father, as if I was their leader. But they're not used to having a father or a leader, a man leader in the house. So they took offense to that. So that's the last thing I say, man. Be authoritative in your tone, be competent, be direct, and be purposeful, man.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, and thanks again for coming on my show. And where can people find you?
You can go check me out on the Real Man channel on YouTube. And that's about it, man. Like, either you get the gym or you don't, man. Come check me out on the Real Man channel. Any questions you have, send it to me. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll have to have you come on again. I want to talk to business stuff. Maybe
yes, sir.
Talk about how to have confidence to talk to girls and stuff. Because you had a lot of great stuff to say. And like, what he says is true. And I'll sum it up before ending the show here. Yeah, you got to be able, as a man, just aggressive challenges in your life, not let fear and anxiety hold you back, and find new ways to develop, overcome.
Breaking up a little bit. Uh-oh. All right, so while he's Wi-Fiing right now, let me just say this, that masculinity stabilizes your feminine side. So that's the reason why I can wear a pink shirt, green glasses, brown. Oh, you back? Nope. That's why I can wear green glasses, brown hat, pink, whatever, and be confident doing it because my masculinity has stabilized my feminine side. I even wrote that in this book right here, where I talked about showing your feminine side. Pimps are a good example of men showing their feminine side. You back yet? Nah, you're still frozen. Pimps will wear different colors, wear feathers in a hat, you know, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So once you are rooted in your masculinity, excuse me,
Oh,
once you're rooted in your masculinity, go ahead. Now you back. Go ahead.
okay, yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, I think you got to just be able to have the authority, take the authority, and take the lead to rise to occasion and not be afraid. And a lot a lot of guys are I was like this too, are afraid to talk with them because they're worried about what they're going to think about, but don't have the fear to be who you are and put yourself out there. Realize that you're not going to look at each experience that you have, even though it didn't go too well, as an experience that's going to help you level up, and it's not the end all and everything. So, but yeah, man, thank you
1,000%.
very much for coming on. But we'll definitely, let's plan to come on in February, rock and roll. And guys, I will be on next Saturday with Mr. 1950 at 2 p.m.
Nice.
MST time, 4 p.m. Eastern time zone. So don't check that out. Come check that out, and get this internet thing straightened out here. And
No doubt.
yeah, definitely look forward to having you on again. And be sure to subscribe and like the the channel and like the video, and check out the book. Do you want to tell them about your book quickly before you go? Or
Yeah, real quick. You guys can check out True Male Nature 101, how sons of single mothers can think like a real man. And basically this book just, breaks down. Let me just read down the titles of the chapters real quick. So chapter
Okay.
1, I'll just read them down. Role of the mother, role of the father, emotional male versus stoic man, the manhood tool belt, heterosexual masculine man, mind, body, health, successfully wealthy, intelligence, power, confidence, pain, PIMP, modern dating, wife, husband material, master of the universe, network over net worth, and finally, the real man spirit. So you guys check this out. What I wrote in this book, I literally said, any male that reads this book and follows its principles and guidelines will indubitably become a real man.
I like that. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out, and we'll talk to you soon.
Will do.